And now it's time for The Catch. Normally, The Catch takes you around the Great Lakes to hear from reporters about issues they're covering. But this month, we're sticking with our theme and letting you know about citizen science projects around the region. We start with our partner on this episode, SciStarter.
SciStarter creates a framework for citizen science to take place and for the collected data to be used by members of the scientific community. The organization's founder, Darlene Cavalier, says there are a lot of opportunities for people to get involved.
It's important to note that citizen science is as broad as science is. So basically from, we say, astronomy to zoology, that's the range of projects that are in SciStarter. And some of my favorites, or ones that really relate, and I think your audience will be excited about, are Stream Selfie, iNaturalist, and a mosquito habitat mapper.
Most of our drinking water comes through streams, so it's important for scientists to keep track of the health of those bodies of water. Darlene says Stream Selfie is a simple and fun way for people to get involved in building a national map of streams.
Take a selfie of yourself or your dog. You'll see some interesting creative ways that people are participating in this, as long as the stream is in the picture. And that automatically gets information from your cell phone that maps that location, so you don't have to do much more than that, except answer a couple of additional questions that tell scientists and others about the health of that water.
iNaturalist is another project that involves taking pictures of the natural world and sharing those photos with scientists and other naturalists. iNaturalist software and online community can help you identify what plant and animal life you're looking at.
The most important thing about iNaturalist to remember is you don't have to know what you're doing. Upload images. You could take a guess. The crowd will help. Make sure that your image is identified as the right species. But also, thousands of scientists use the data from iNaturalist. And this is all about monitoring biodiversity. Looking for population changes in plants and animals is extremely important.
And then there's a project for mapping mosquito habitats, which helps support data from satellites and computer models about the outbreak and spread of diseases.
So the Mosquito Mapper is a way to sort of identify potential or real habitats where mosquito larvae are. And this is important because these breed diseases. You don't want to kill all the mosquitoes that you see because they're actually important food sources for other insects. But some will produce Zika, for example.
These three projects are all SciStarter affiliates, which means you can track your participation across these and other citizen science projects that SciStarter supports. Darlene says affiliate projects also offer additional ways to get involved.
Check your local library, where you can look at scistarter.org/library-locations. And you can find libraries that offer kits for these projects. You don't need instruments other than the apps that I mentioned or special tools, but they do provide everything that you need to make your experience just a wonderful one and to help make sure that your data is credible so scientists can use it.
Chicago's Shedd Aquarium is getting in on citizen science with a series of conservation action days. Christina Meyer is coordinator of conservation action at the aquarium. She says the program allows people to help improve animal habitats in their own backyards, at the beach, or in nearby wooded areas.
We help create opportunities for action in those spaces to directly impact the animals at their homes.
Christina says the locations for the program change depending on the season and need. Lately, the team has been focused on woodland habitat restoration.
There is an invasive tree called European buckthorn. As you can tell by the name, it is not native here in the U.S., but it has started to take over our native landscape.
In partnership with the Forest Preserves of Cook County, volunteers use hand tools to cut and burn the invasive brush to help make room for native flora and fauna.
We teach folks how to identify European buckthorn and how to safely test their lumberjack skills and chop it down with us.
And then during the summer months, Shedd's amphibian researcher, Dr. Melissa Youngquist, heads back out to the areas where volunteers have been doing the restoration work to track how the efforts are impacting local amphibian populations.
And so we meet folks at all levels and then provide them with opportunities to take action for where they're at.
Christina says the work of citizen scientists helps with data collection and also gives participants a better understanding of where they live.
That data then gets sent to scientists who help use that data to impact policy or future research and support for species throughout the Chicagoland and Great Lakes region. So those impacts are long-lasting past that one day that an individual comes out to take action.
On Charity Island in Michigan's Saginaw Bay, elementary school students are gearing up to participate in a long-term scientific study focused on an endangered plant species. In her latest monthly column called Science Says What, Great Lakes Now contributor Sharon Ostook has the story.
These students are taking part in a study of restoration efforts for the threatened pitcher's thistle on Charity Island, that's in Saginaw Bay. And every spring since 2015, scientists have visited a grade 5 class from Grayson School in Northeast Michigan. And these scientists train the students on how to recognize the pitcher's thistle at various stages of life, and also how to use a GPS unit to map their location.
In addition to GPS units, the students are also provided with data entry sheets, and they traverse along the fragile landscape of Charity Island looking for the pitcher's thistle to collect seeds and document the health of the plant.
They plot the thistle's location and also the location of invasive Phragmites, which threaten the thistles.
The study's findings have indicated that spraying has substantially decreased the island's Phragmites population, leaving more room for the pitcher's thistle, whose numbers have increased slightly. Sharon says the effort shows the role even young students can play in citizen science initiatives.
Students can be a really important part of data collection and research if they're trained properly, and it's not that hard, really, to train them properly. And in this case, their findings are being used to assess how well the restoration efforts are working. And it's a mixed bag, but it's important to know, and these students are uncovering that.
As Sharon's column Science Says What evolves, she hopes to translate scientific findings about the Great Lakes into accessible information for the general public.
With this column, I was thinking a lot about how science can be kind of inaccessible for folks sometimes. You know, the jargon, the things like statistical significance, p-values. I mean, what does that mean to the average person? And my goal is to try and translate that into plain English so that people not only understand, but care about the Great Lakes, because you can't protect what you don't know about, and it makes a difference when you understand what's going on.
At Great Lakes Now, we aim to cover the Great Lakes region and the people who live here, like you. Please follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for our newsletter at greatlakesnow.org.